I think that will help me re-recruit my background brain.
It's time that we give ourselves a concrete goal.
Yes.
We've spent the last several weeks dealing with a bunch of different things in our personal lives that have made it really difficult to spend time on making progress on our book. We have made some progress on figuring out the plot, and that has been really big, and we've talked about that in, I think, our last video.
Right.
But we want to make some more concrete progress of not just ideas, but actually getting words on paper. So we are making it our goal this week to finish chapter 2.
Yes, like you said, we've had a lot of things going on, many different responsibilities that we have each had that are completely unrelated to novel. We've mentioned in previous videos, life happens, and especially when this is not our full-time job, this is not the way we expect to be making our living going forward. This is just a passion project of ours, and yet we want to do it very well.
Yes.
And part of that wanting to do it very well and not feeling like we really have the time or energy or space to put into it what we want to has kind of really made it off to the side. And it has felt like just having the time to prepare, what are we going to video about next, has been about all the energy that we have had. It used to be that when we were early on in this project, we didn't have a lot of other things going on. And as I would be going about my day, the background part of my brain would constantly be thinking of new things. Oh, we could have this character do this. Oh, this would be a really neat characteristic that a character could have. Or this would be a really neat plot point. Or this could happen in our world. And a lot of that stuff just happened naturally without me even trying in the background. But with all of the other things going on, I find my background brain is just constantly being put to work with a bunch of these other aspects of life. And in our meeting, I mentioned to Nathan, I thought if we had a concrete goal, we're going to try to achieve this by the next time that we meet, seeing that reward ahead would really help me get that. And I think that will help me re-recruit my background brain and get at least part of it on the task of making progress with the novel.
Yeah, I think so. I mentioned we're finishing chapter 2. We decided to look through and see, starting at chapter 1, looking at all the scenes that we have. What's the next scenes that we haven't written, and do we think we can write those? And we have 2 more scenes in chapter 2 that we have not written yet. So that's what we're each going to work on one of those over the next 2 weeks.
It just happened that one of them was Arnold, one of them was Vanessa's point of view, so one of each.
And one of the challenges for me writing Arnold's scene is going to be that it is one of the earlier scenes with Arnold and Vanessa both talking together. And so I need to make sure that I know not just how Arnold, my primary character, is going to act, but also how Vanessa is going to act, how she's going to respond to what Arnold says. So I will probably find myself, before I even sit down and start writing, looking back at the other scenes that you have written with Vanessa, just to try to figure out a little bit more of how she thinks, how she's likely to respond to certain things that Arnold is going to say. And because how she responds is then going to affect how Arnold responds. And I'd like to stay as close on track with how the conversation would actually play out as possible going through the first draft. But we know first drafts will always change.
Right. In my scene, I know one of the things that I can already sense a resistance to is I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get into it and realize, well, I want to write about this, but I don't think we've set up enough yet. But remembering, this is just first draft. We can just get it out there. First draft in paragraph form. My first draft tends to be more of a 0th draft with just bullet points. So I need to at least get it from bullet points to paragraph form. But we'll still review. We'll help each other get things back on track.
And any of that setup that needs to be done, we can always go back and set stuff up beforehand or change stuff so it doesn't need setup.
Right.
It's a first draft.
Yes.
There's a lot.
At least do that.
Yes. It's at least something, though. There's a lot to go after that first draft, but getting something on paper, getting back into actually writing is going to be very helpful, I think, for probably increasing motivation in the future,
think so.
seeing that progress and kind of getting momentum going there. So that's what our goal is for the next 2 weeks. And our question for you is, what do you do to re-engage the background brain on the work that you want it to be working on? Let us know in the comments, and we will see you in 2 weeks.